Welcome, miladies of inestimable value, friendships or even breakups. Yet society still pushes isn't a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate power, the one word that's supposed to mean unconditional love, loyalty, and support. But what if, instead of a safe haven, it feels like a battlefield? What if the very people meant to uplift you are the ones clipping your wings? Here's a fact. Studies show that toxic family relationships can be more damaging to mental health than bad friendships or even breakups. Yet society still pushes the fairy tale that family is everything, as if DNA magically erases betrayal, manipulation, and suffocating expectations. But Sigma females, they don't buy into that illusion. They know that just because someone shares their blood doesn't mean they deserve a seat at their table. And if that table is filled with jealousy, control, and guilt-tripping, a Sigma female will flip it over and walk away without looking back. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate power move. So why do Sigma females do it? Why do they turn their backs on the very people society says they should never abandon? Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will shake everything you thought you knew about family. Number 1. They outgrow their families, they walk away. It's not rebellion, it's frustrating. Every new idea they bring up gets to let anyone hold them back. They don't abandon their like family heirlooms, whether they make sense or not. But Sigma females, they don't just accept what they've been given. They question it, break it apart, and analyze it from every angle. And when they realize their family's thinking is too small, too outdated, or too limiting for the life they want, they walk away. It's not rebellion, it's evolution. Sigma females see the world differently. They aren't afraid to challenge ideas that have been blindly followed for generations. They refuse to shrink themselves to fit inside a mold they never agreed to. When they start thinking bigger, dreaming bolder, and living differently, their families often see it as disrespect. But it's not disrespect. It's refusing to live by rules that don't serve them. Conversations start feeling frustrating. Every new idea they bring up gets shut down with, "That's not how we do things," or "You think you're better than us now." But the truth is, it has nothing to do with being better. It has everything to do with refusing to be stuck. Sigma females would rather walk alone in the unknown than stay in a world that keeps them small. And that's what makes their departure inevitable. They don't leave because they don't care. They leave because they care too much about their own growth to let anyone hold them back. They don't abandon their family. They just refuse to abandon themselves. And if walking away is the price of freedom, they'll pay it without regret. Number 2, they refuse to be the family therapist. There's a breaking point. And when she does, she walks away. Want to be helped. They just want someone to unload on. Stops giving advice that falls on deaf ears and absorb everyone's drama without ever asking for anything in return. In many cases, that person is the Sigma female. She's the problem solver, the voice of reason, the emotional dumping ground. But after years of playing therapist for people who refuse to change, she reaches a breaking point, and when she does, she walks away. It starts subtly. Family members come to her with the same problems over and over again. They complain about their toxic relationships, but never leave. They make reckless decisions and expect her to clean up the mess. They play victim, but never take accountability. At first she tries to help. She gives advice, offers solutions, even lends a hand. But over time she realizes the truth. They don't want to be helped. They just want someone to unload on. She notices how one-sided it is. No one asks how she's doing. No one listens when she speaks. No one offers her the same support she gives so freely. And that's when it clicks. She's not their loved one. She's their emotional ATM. And just like an ATM, they only show up when they need something. So she does the one thing they never expected. She stops. Stops answering the late-night crisis calls. Stops giving advice that falls on deaf ears. Stops letting her peace be sacrificed for problems she didn't create. And when she walks away, she doesn't just leave the conversations. She leaves the role they forced her into, because she was never meant to be a therapist. She was meant to be free. Number 3, they reject the family name as an idea, what to believe, and even what kind of life they should live. Just about expectations, it's about control, the idea that she owes them her identity. A Sigma feels that come with it. Reputation matters more than happiness. Tradition comes before individuality. Personal dreams take a back seat to what the family expects. But Sigma females, they refuse to be defined by a name they never chose. From a young age, they see the pressure. They're told how to behave, what to believe, and even what kind of life they should lead, all to uphold the family's image. Maybe they come from a long line of doctors, lawyers, or business owners, and breaking that pattern is considered betrayal. Or perhaps their family holds on to outdated values that Sigma females simply don't align with. Either way, they quickly realize that staying means sacrificing who they are just to fit into a mold someone else created. The real issue? It's not just about expectations, it's about control. Families like this don't care who you are as an individual, they care about what you represent. They demand loyalty, not love. And the moment a Sigma female starts thinking for herself, challenging the system, or carving her own path, she's seen as the black sheep, the problem, the rebel, the disappointment. But she doesn't see it that way. She sees it as freedom. Walking away isn't about rejecting family. It's about rejecting the idea that she owes them her identity. A Sigma female refuses to be a puppet in a legacy she didn't ask for. She doesn't live for reputation, for tradition, or for anyone's approval. Her name may be inherited, but who she is, that's self-made. Number 4, they see through the fake blood is them, disrespects their boundaries, and commitment without reciprocity, not love. That's a performance, and Sigma loyalty and respect. But Sigma females, they know better. They've seen firsthand that some of the most toxic, manipulative, and envious people can come from their own bloodline. They refuse to buy into the guilt trip culture of, but we're family, when that same family belittles them, disrespects their boundaries, or only shows up when they need something. To a Sigma female, loyalty isn't a birthright, it's earned. And if she finds more kindness, respect, and genuine support from people outside her family, she has no problem choosing those connections instead. The irony is, families who demand blind loyalty are often the ones who do the most damage. They expect forgiveness without apology, obedience without reason, and commitment without reciprocity. A Sigma female won't entertain that nonsense. She's not afraid to break the illusion and admit that just because someone shares her DNA doesn't mean they share her values. She's also seen how family members who claim to love each other can be the first to throw each other under the bus when it benefits them. She's watched relatives gossip, compete, and secretly root for each other's downfall, all while smiling in family photos. That's not love. That's a performance, and Sigma females refuse to be part of the cast. At the end of the day, it's not about cutting ties, it's about choosing alignment. If her energy is constantly drained, if she's walking on eggshells, if she feels more at home with outsiders than her own blood, she knows what to do. She leaves, and she never looks back. Number 5, they are not emotional. It's to notice something. It's never enough. Withdrawal. Sigma females refuse to be drained. Another layer, the fake concern. The Eve. Sigma female. She's the one people call when they need money, advice, emotional support, or a last-minute favor. At first, she doesn't mind. She helps because she genuinely cares. But over time, she starts to notice something. It's never enough. The moment she says no or sets a boundary, she's met with guilt trips, silent treatment, or accusations of being selfish. But where is that same energy when she needs support? Nowhere to be found. That's when it becomes clear. She's not valued for who she is. She's valued for what she provides. She's not a daughter, sister, or cousin. She's an emotional ATM. And just like an ATM, people only show up when they need a withdrawal. Sigma females refuse to be drained. They understand that love isn't just about giving, it's about mutual respect and reciprocity. The moment they realize they're in a one-sided relationship, they stop feeding into it. They cut off the endless cycle of emotional labor and financial handouts. And when the same people who took them for granted start complaining that they've changed, that's just a confirmation that walking away was the right move. Then comes another layer, the fake concern. the "I'm just worried about you" comments from family members who aren't actually concerned at all. What they really mean is, how dare you live on your own terms while I'm still stuck? It's not love. It's envy disguised as advice. They judge her choices, not because they think she's making a mistake, but because they resent the fact that she's free. Sigma females see through it instantly, and instead of arguing, they do something even more powerful. They leave. Number 6, they will not play the perfect daughter, but never for themselves. But as her, they want a puppet. She watches other. She stops seeking approval. She stops bending. Are expected to be perfect. Not in a way that celebrates their uniqueness or intelligence, but in a way that keeps them controlled. They're supposed to be obedient, soft-spoken, endlessly giving, and always putting family before themselves. In other words, they're expected to live for everyone else, but never for themselves. But a Sigma female, she was never built for that kind of existence. She questions authority. She values her own voice, and most of all, she refuses to be molded into something she's not. When she speaks her mind, they say she's too opinionated. When she sets boundaries, they call her cold. When she prioritizes her own happiness, they label her selfish. But she doesn't care because deep down she knows the truth. They don't want a daughter, they want a puppet. She watches other women in her family break themselves trying to please everyone. Mothers who gave up their dreams, aunts who stayed in miserable marriages, sisters who sacrificed their happiness for the sake of duty. And she decides that will never be her. She wasn't born to be the family's emotional caretaker. She wasn't put on this earth to make everyone else comfortable at the expense of her own peace. So, she does the unthinkable. She steps out of the role entirely. She stops seeking approval. She stops bending to expectations. And when they try to shame her back into submission, she gives them the one answer they never expected. No, she's not here to be the perfect daughter. She's here to live life her way. And if that means walking away, so be it. Number 7. They outgrow their family, refuses to live in that mindset. She believes she just refuses to drown with them. So, she makes a choice. She will unfair life is, how they were dealt a bad hand, and how nothing ever goes their way. Every conversation is a broken record of complaints, but when it comes to actual solutions, silence. They don't want to change, they just want sympathy. But a Sigma female, she refuses to live in that mindset. She believes in action, not excuses. She knows that problems exist, but she also knows that wallowing in them doesn't fix anything. When she tries to encourage her family to think differently, to take responsibility, to break toxic cycles, to aim for something better, she's met with resistance. They call her naive, unrealistic, or accuse her of thinking she's better than them. But the truth is, she's not looking down on them. She just refuses to drown with them. She sees the pattern, generation after generation, the same excuses, the same complaints, the same victimhood. It's always someone else's fault. It's the government, the economy, bad luck, destiny, anything but personal accountability. And while they waste their energy blaming the world, she's busy building her own. She doesn't have time to sit around and complain. She's too focused on growth, success, and becoming the person they refuse to be. So, she makes a choice. She walks away. Not because she lacks empathy, but because she refuses to be dragged into the same cycle of negativity. She won't spend her life waiting for change that will never come. She won't shrink herself to make others feel comfortable in their misery. Instead, she rises. And if that means leaving them behind, then so be it. Number 8, they will not be used as a ladder for. They just want to ride her coattails, hoping her their hand outstretched, expecting favors or earned gains. Family doesn't get a free pass. Some relatives see a Sigma female as a stepping stone to climb up the ladder, assuming that because they share the same blood, she'll be more than happy to pull them up. They want her connections, her resources, and her time, but they're not interested in putting in the same level of effort or work. They just want to ride her coattails, hoping her success will trickle down to them without them lifting a finger. But Sigma females have zero tolerance for freeloaders. She understands the value of hard work and self-sufficiency. She built herself up from the ground, carving her own path with sweat, sacrifice, and strategy. She doesn't have time to drag someone else along who isn't putting in the effort. And when family members approach her with their hand outstretched, expecting favors or financial support without offering anything in return, she sees it for what it is: a manipulation. It's not about being heartless, it's about principle. She won't hand out opportunities to those who haven't earned them. Sigma females know that true success is personal. It's about doing the work, having the drive, and putting in the time. If you haven't done that, why should she hand you her hard-earned gains? Family doesn't get a free pass to her time or resources just because they share her last name. She's willing to help those who genuinely want to work for their success, but she won't be used as a shortcut for those who expect handouts. If you want to succeed, she'll support you, but not by doing the work for you. She'll be the first to remind you: success isn't a handout. It's a result of grit, hustle, and earning what you're worth. Number 9. They're done pretending to like. If someone in her family is toxic, manipulative, or show up when it benefits you, she's done. No matter if you're a parent, sibling, or cousin, and her mental health are non-negotiable. To forgive their manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional abuse just because they share your last name. But to a Sigma female, that's nothing but a hollow excuse. She doesn't believe in maintaining relationships for the sake of tradition or guilt. If someone in her family is toxic, manipulative, or narcissistic, she'll walk away without a second thought. It's not about the blood that runs through your veins, it's about the energy you bring into her life. She's not interested in playing the family game where smiles hide resentment, where silence masks manipulation, and where love is conditional on fulfilling other people's needs. If you use her for emotional support but never offer anything in return, she's done. If you only show up when it benefits you, she's done. If your presence in her life consistently drains her energy or makes her feel small, she's done. Sigma females don't owe anyone their time or mental space just because of their family ties. They've outgrown the need for false pleasantries and are done pretending that everything is fine when it's clearly not. Toxic relatives can no longer manipulate her into staying in a relationship that's damaging her growth and peace. It doesn't matter if you're a parent, sibling, or cousin. If you're toxic, she will cut you off without hesitation, no questions asked. This level of clarity and decisiveness might shock some people, but the Sigma female is unmoved. She understands that no one has the right to monopolize her life with negativity, even if they're family. So, if that means walking away from people who have the same blood running through their veins, then so be it. Her peace, her growth, and her mental health are non-negotiable. Number 10. They will not be forced her own dreams, and she'll never let anyone dictate. Parents, extended family, or society feel second of their precious life doing what others expect. Decided with dreams, values, and expectations that are supposed to be followed without question. They impose their own vision onto their kids, hoping to mold them into replicas of themselves or what they wish they could have been. But a Sigma female will never play along. She has her own vision, her own dreams, and she'll never let anyone dictate the course of her life. When they push her to follow a certain career, marry a certain person, or live according to their narrow ideals of success, she sees it for what it is, a trap. Their script was never her script to begin with. She wasn't born to fulfill someone else's dreams. She wasn't born to meet the expectations set by people who believe they know what's best for her. The idea of living a life dictated by anyone else, whether it's her parents, extended family, or society, feels suffocating. Sigma females don't just reject these imposed ideals, they completely rewrite the narrative of their lives. They know their worth and understand that their life is their own to design. They're not here to meet the standards of others or play the part of the dutiful child, spouse, or sibling. They're here to create their own legacy based on their own values and passions. They won't waste 1 second of their precious life doing what others expect of them. Family might push, pressure, or guilt-trip them into following their path, but the Sigma female simply walks away. She doesn't need anyone's permission to live her life the way she wants. And if that means stepping out of the mold and choosing a different direction, one that feels true to her soul, then that's exactly what she'll do. Her life is her story, and she writes it on her own terms. In the end, the Sigma female is not bound by familial commitment to her own happiness. To her, what's for comfort or out of duty, the Sigma female challenges the status quo and inspires you to live self-worth. She doesn't accept the labels or roles that others try to place on her. She knows that family, while important, is not the measure of her identity or success. Her power lies in her autonomy, her unapologetic refusal to be manipulated, and her unwavering commitment to her own happiness. To her, walking away from toxic relatives, rejecting the perfect daughter role, and outgrowing the chains of inherited expectations isn't about being cold or heartless. It's about self-preservation, self-love, and personal growth. She knows that she can't pour from an empty cup, and she refuses to let anyone take away her peace or hold her back from becoming the person she was meant to be. So while others may cling to their family ties for comfort or out of duty, the Sigma female continues to walk her own path, unafraid of the road less traveled. Her journey is one of empowerment, authenticity, and freedom. And for her, there is no greater success than living her life exactly how she chooses, surrounded only by the people who truly deserve to be there. If you found this content insightful and empowering, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another post that challenges the status quo and inspires you to live life on your own terms. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and share this with anyone who needs a little reminder that their story is theirs to write. Let's build a community of strong, independent individuals who refuse to be boxed in by anyone's expectations. Keep thriving, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.